I saw, to have all of us here and we could not even deliberate on important issues that have to do with the lives of each and every student of this association. I don't know how this can be done or this can be altered or changed, but I feel it starts here in the House of Senate, because we are equal representation of each and every program that is being run by the School of Graduate Studies. And as I know, as a former senator, I know that we also act as the mouthpiece of Senate in our classrooms. That is why they call all of you members of parliament. You are supposed to go back to your constituencies and tell them what is going on within the association and within Senate. I don't want to say that doesn't happen, but that is the belief that senators, after enjoying the Senate meeting and the food and everything, don't go back to go and speak to their constituents. And it's sad. Because if there's supposed to be a program or there's supposed to be an activity, it's being done for the student body. And senators are supposed to relay that information in your classrooms. We do not have access to your classrooms. And I must believe that not everybody is on the Grasag official WhatsApp page, except I'm lying. So the first point of call is each and every senator here. And I think as part of your responsibilities and your duty as a senator, that should be the first. Reporting back to your constituents. It's unfortunate that yesterday's General Assembly did not happen. But again, through convention and deliberations, the students that were, our colleagues that were here agreed that we have an informal session, and we did. And certain very important issues came up. Some were addressed, some are yet to move to management. Please, the turnout of programs is very important to me, because to organize a program, we use your money. And it's sad that we use your money to do something, and the people we are doing it for will not be available to enjoy what we want to do for you. On this note, I'd say all the best in the end of semester, your examinations and your term papers. And I hope that by next semester, we'll can smile. A change or renewed attitude. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Actually finish in time, so I actually second the amendment of the other paper.
Okay. Other move, other second. Motion move, motion seconded. They've been fighting in my ears for too long, so I'm getting confused. So, because we went for break not long ago, I would want to push a little bit so that we can close on time. Yeah, no normal members are hungry, but let's push for the committee report. After the committee report, then we go for the food. Otherwise, the alternative is that we eat whilst we listen to the committee report, which I know people will not pay attention. Other members will not pay attention. They will pay attention to the food. So please, let's push a little bit. Let's hold on. Let's finish item number 7. After item number 7, we can go for our dinner. Then we just move to State of Grasag account. However, after the report from the committee heads, if the benches so decide that we move on to State of Grasag account before our dinner, I'll ask that they communicate that through the bench leaders so that we move on. So. So we start with the first committee. The communication committee will start. The communication committee has its head being the clerk of the house. However, I'm being informed that the secretary to the committee, which is Honorable Jackson, will be taking the podium for the communication committee. So Honorable Jackson, if you are in the house, please take over for the communication team.
Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Clerk, committee members, fellow senators, Mr. President, all protocols duly observed. I bring you greetings from the Senate Communications Committee. So the Senate Communications Committee is responsible for all the communications and interactions regarding the Senate. So I'd like to brief you on a few projects that we've undertaken this semester. The first one is the use of bulk SMS to communicate information concerning upcoming Senate meetings to Senate members, and then we use the same bulk SMS to send messages of appreciation after the meetings have been concluded. The second one is the successful implementation of the Senate website, which would reduce the stress of using the manual system to input personal details of senators. The third one is the organization of successful joint parliamentary webinars in collaboration with the SRC, where senators were invited to speak on topics concerning Parliament. Another is the bi-weekly radio presentations, that's the Senate on radio. The committee head lobbied for a slot that is usually given to the SRC, and the Senate was granted a bi-weekly appearance. This semester, we held about 3 successful sessions. The fifth one, the distribution of certificates for last year's academic senators. The circulation of flyers to inform senators about academic and upcoming Senate activities. So some challenges and concerns were raised regarding this one, and then I would like to put them before the House. The first one is, it came to our notice that some of the senators do not receive the bulk SMSs that we send around. So there will be a need to revise the records and then update them. Another one is, it takes a while for the flyers to be ready, concerning that the flyers are made by the executives. And the recent one, I think there was a problem with the venue and the date, so it took a while before the flyer was ready. So we apologize for that. And then we also discussed ways to improve some of the existing projects. So there's been a Senate Ladies WhatsApp platform that we aim to empower ladies. We are still in the month of March, and so it's International Women's Month and all that. We aim to empower ladies to take on more positions in Senate, to be involved in Senate activities. And so we aim to organize a lot of activities to senators to please come forward and volunteer for the Senate on Radio Talk Show to prevent notions of favoritism and bias. And then with this one, I'd like to appeal to the bench leaders. Every time we have Senate on radio, we would like you to provide 2 of your members, preferably a male and a female, because of the whole empowering ladies in the Senate. Yeah. Also, the committee will work hand in hand with the business committee to ensure that the topics for discussion on the radio will be ready as early as possible so that the volunteers can adequately prepare. We realize that sometimes volunteers don't come forward because the topics are not ready, so they don't know whether they have adequate knowledge on that, so we'll rectify that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so that's from the communication committee. Honorable Johnson, please, you cannot leave. Please, you have to return back. So that is their report. So this report is part of processes to protect Grasag account. Over the years, we pay committee members allowances. Sometimes we don't even see what they do, or we don't get to know what has been done by such committees, but we end up paying the money. So this time we are avoiding that. So before any committee will be paid, you would have to come to this house, report what you've done so far, the meetings you've had, before payment will be made. Any committee which does not submit a report does not get paid. And so this committee report is not just about Senate. The executives, or let me say, the executive committees would also come as well to present. However, because of the purposes of continuity, she has mentioned certain policies. And I'll give 5 members the opportunity to contribute to this if there's any way we can improve upon what has been said or other innovative processes the communication team can also put up to improve Senate activities. We would give the floor to 5 members before we move to the next committee. So the floor is open, 5 members. I think she spoke about Senator Radio and the new dimensions that will be added is at least there should be a female representation, one. Second of all, there should also be persons with special needs in there, and also foreign students to deepen the relationship with persons with special needs and foreign students as well. So those are the first, well, let me say that's the first one. The second one was about the bulk SMS as a means of communication. Is it effective? It's not effective. What do we do to improve membership, or let me say, improve communication among Senate members? Honorable Jackson, which other recommendations or issues did you raise apart from these two?
Just to make sure the topics are informed.
Okay, so Senate, so a new group has been formed for Senate ladies. So that is to empower ladies within the House. So if you are not part of that platform, please try as much as possible to join the platform. It is for ladies to discuss ladies-related issues. I am not a lady, I cannot join. But if you're a lady, please, at least for this year, the number of ladies in the House is encouraging, which means we are making progress. And as such, we have to come up with innovative programs to bring other ladies to the front as well. So these are the recommendations the communication committee is putting forth. Members, any contribution before we move to the next committee? The floor is open for 5 members. Honorable member, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Please, with respect to the bulk SMS messages, Honorable Speaker, I will review that the various groups can be empowered the more, so that they will be able to reach their members to always participate in this August House meeting. Because they can easily reach out to their members as quickly as possible as it is, so that members can always be here on time. And for that matter, I think empowering them in backing that journey for you, I think will help release up your or lessen up your burdens. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other suggestion? Okay, Honorable, you just have to be on your feet, that's so. Otherwise, you make me feel like a lecturer. I don't want to be one right now.
Thank you, right, Honorable Speaker. Maxwell Amakubuate, Educational Administration. I remember our first sitting, some of the executives tried to go around the various departments, and this alone motivated some of the senators to be present here. But today, when we look around, we can see that the number has decreased. And also our time. I don't know how we are going to do with this particular issue, because we stated plainly that it should be 4 o'clock, and I think we started almost 6, 2 hours difference, which is very, I don't want to use this word, but excuse me, it's very bad as leaders that we are setting some example for others to follow. Yesterday too, it happened the same way. Those even who were here were very late. Not to talk about the number of those who also didn't bother to come, but these same people are going to ask what are the executives doing for the Grasag Association. Yes, so I think we should consider the time and also how we communicate to the Grasag as a whole. And I suggest that if our meetings, we can schedule time for us all, maybe in this particular.
Can you hold on? Eventually there is I'll pretend as if my eye has not seen, but no matter how I set my eye, I have to still see. So please, eventually there you have the floor.
I'm grateful you are finally seeing me. Mr. Speaker, I want to rise on the point of total order to bring the honorable member to order. I understand your sentiment by making the comment that we are leaders and we must set the pace. But unfortunately, the question is, at what time did you come? What time, as members, what time was given to you? What time did you also report? And we can't start a Senate meeting with 2 senators. It was the same issue yesterday at the GA. Constitutionally or legally, we are supposed to start by having 1/10 of members. And as at the time, there were few people. You see, in as much as we blame leaders, we should also be courageous enough to take the blame ourselves. So, honorable member, I want to stand on the point of order to put you to a total order that leadership is most times doing that. We should also take the responsibilities to do our best. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Honorable member, please stand. I can see your spirit is high, but there is water to cool down. Yes. Yeah, you see, the interesting part is that you don't wake up in the morning and start eating. At least you should take your bath first.
Yeah.
So please, you take your time. However, you now have the.
You can take water.
Please, let's stay within the communication. What's the communication? We have AOP where you can raise other concerns. So let's stay within what the members have done of member presented.
Thank you very much, my majority leader. If you get my words right, I used ourselves as an example, which means I am part. So what are we going to do so that we can eradicate such an issue or challenge that we are facing? So sorry if you didn't get me right or I made something that you didn't like it. I was on my second issue. That is, if we can schedule the dates for our meetings, maybe a semester we meet twice. So the first 3 weeks we may be meeting for our first Senate meeting. Maybe getting to the end of the semester, we can also do that. If you'll be here, it should be an emergency that will bring us here. So
I think you are deviating from the point. I understand your sentiment. I hope if you were to move that issue to AOB, it would be helpful. But for the we want to finish with the committee report. Otherwise, we wouldn't leave today. So I'm begging you. Is it on the same issue or it's on the report? Bench leader, would you want to give the honors or you will still want to?
I think what I wanted to do is you have already.
Oh, okay. Okay, then no problem. Honorable member, you have the floor.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I am Okiam Ponsa, representing Educational Psychology Constituency. And I must say, the Communication Committee, they've done a yeoman's job. And they need commendation. And so we entreat you to say package more activities for us, especially on the women agenda that you have included. I think it is good that we empower our women in here. And so doing, we need also to inculcate so many activities that will also make them feel home or feel at home and their presence also be felt. And so at this juncture, we commend you and we hope you do more to improve activities and programs in here. Thanks very much, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Okay, Honorable Member. So you will be the third, then we'll be left with 2.
Thank you very much. I am representing PhD Economics. And I am also
commending the communication, department, or let me say the communication committee for that wonderful work that they've done. Most especially is about the Senate on radio, and I really love those areas. Maybe one day, I also join in the discussion. But I want you to really demystify the things that probably we are going to talk about in there. Is it solely going to pivot around just Grasag-Ucc, the interior things, or we are going to talk about things that even go beyond? Probably we take some issues concerning the economy, things that are happening in the country, then maybe we go there and discuss. Or it's going to center around only Grasag-Ucc. That is one thing that I want you to maybe clarify, so that we know the topics that we will even go and discuss ahead of time. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'd like to address that. We do take topics, broad topics, but we make sure that we link them to Grasag-Ucc Senate, like the International Women's Day, the topic that we took, women inclusion in parliament, and then we linked it to Grasag-Ucc Senate. And so for now, the topics that we will take, though they will be broad, but we'll make sure that we relate them to Senate.
So I think that will be all. So we can move on. Okay. We have the last two. So this is the last two. Apart from them, no one is.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's just a humble plea. I believe in as much as we want contributions from members with regards to the various committees or their report, we should also be time conscious, because I can see some issues trooping up which could have been debated or discussed at other business. So in so doing, I want to plead with your humble office to consider only 2, maximum 3 contributions from members, so that we can have room for other committees to also present. Thank you.
Okay, more thinking and advice. Okay, Honorable Benjamin, you have the floor.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I will like to associate myself with the commendations so far. The communication committee have done very wonderful job, and we commend them for that. But we also thank them for the involvement of persons with special needs and then foreign students in their programs. But persons with special needs would like
on that.
Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, Council, Right Honorable Speaker, bench leaders, SRC Parliamentary Council, Mr. President, executives here in Ghana, colleagues, I bring you warm greetings from the Welfare Committee of Senate. In fact, this is, as my bench leader said, necessity, and I would say that the Right Honorable Speaker, in his thought of we having a welfare committee of Senate that will be in charge of welfare issues of senators, even though we have the welfare committee at Grasag. But for we, the senators, we also have some peculiar issues that affect us, and as such, we need to have means and ways of resolving our own issues internally. And that is the main reason why for this committee. So at our first meeting as a committee, myself together with my committee members, we brainstormed and we had so many discussions, and we had some of the following. At our meeting, we emphasized the importance of aligning the activities of Senate with its goals as it has been enshrined in our standing orders. Also, there was a suggestion by that since we are a welfare committee, then we should have a way, by way of funds, how to support our activities. And as such, we concluded as a committee that we are bringing to the attention of this house that let it be all members. I know this one will be some way, somehow, sound a bit uneasy, but for our own good, we are suggesting that members of this house voluntarily, we should all contribute something. If indeed we want to take good care of our own selves as senators, then we should contribute something. So at every sitting, we are proposing that at least the least is 10 cedis, and any amount above 10 cedis will be okay with it. So at every sitting, every member should at least come with 10 cedis as a way of contribution, so that if we should have any issue that is affecting any member as Senate, we know we have some funds that we can fall on, not necessarily going to Grasag, because they are working with a budget, and we have been given our own allocation within the budget, and we can go beyond what has been allocated to us. So internally, what can we do? So that is what we are proposing. By way of at least 10 cedis or 20, that is the range we are looking at, either 10 cedis or 20, and it's the decision of this house to adapt or adopt each of the amount we are proposing. And as such, the Office of Right Honorable Speaker, together with leadership, has given the committee a seed fund of 100 Ghana cedis to start it. And but to be able to collect such an amount, we know with our committee would have been to disperse or implement these issues. So we are not clothed with the powers to take money, and we are proposing that since the House has an audit and account committee, then that committee would be the best in terms of collecting, managing the amount we are going to receive on behalf of Senate. So we are proposing that if we agree that we are that contribution, then the audit and account committee should be the one in charge of such funds, so that there will be accountability. And the last thing you saw before we went on recess was a brainchild of one of our member, that is the clerk. In fact, she called that today we are having a meeting and we are welfare committee. So how do we help our brothers and sisters or our colleagues senators who are Muslims and they are fasting? Because today they need to break their fast. So she proposed that she has something that she will want to help with. And I said, oh, no problem. I also have something small. So let's put it together. Even though it is our responsibility, if we had the funds, it should have been the work of the welfare committee to provide such fruits and everything for our colleague Muslims to be able to break their fast. Similarly, when it is in Easter and we have something that we want to do for senators, of course, it should have been the work of the welfare. But this is the situation whereby we don't have any fund available. So personally, we put our resources together and we're able to do that. And we believe that it's not only about coming to solve issues with regards to finance. Sometimes we are here and people are in stressful situations. And very soon, our friends who are in psychology, population and health, whichever field, any senator comes with his or her own issue, or even those who are in accounting education and everything, will come to you, because we believe that our mandate is not only about providing finance, but we need to go beyond that. And I would want to reiterate again with regards to our contribution. It's a plea. It's not compulsory. That's why we have indicated that it is a voluntary thing that we want to do. And to show our commitment, myself together with my committee have agreed that the next Senate sitting, that would be next semester, would be contributing 20 Ghana cedis each as part of our commitment towards this contribution. It's not compulsory. It's going to be voluntary. But I believe if we all agree on this, we can have a way. So the resolutions we had are the following: that for us to be able to maximize this revenue that we want, our friends at so had a brilliant idea where they've procured their own Lacoste that they wear with inscription as a member of the SRC, Parliamentary Council, and all of that. We are also proposing if the House would accept that we also go in that direction. We procure, whether it's going to be a cloth or a Lacoste, we procure, but the profit on it would be added as part of our internally generated fund for welfare issues. And lastly, if we can also procure wristbands and fall on our Senate, we know we have our Senate alumni who are out there that they are really making it in this country. And those who are even in abroad, we can fall on them that this time Senate needs you and we want you to also come in our aid. So on this note, I would want to thank my committee members and the Right Honorable Speaker. He joined us in our meetings and he really helped us with so many suggestions. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Welfare Committee. So I'll give the opportunity to only 3 people based on the recommendation of the right bench leader. Only 3. So if you are up, so 3, I can say 3 people. So please, no honorable member should be up again. If you have any recommendation after this.
A part of he was part of my committee, and I was happy that you gave him the mandate to chair the welfare committee. So, Mr. Marwan, I want to commend you and your committee for the great work. I want to make some few suggestions to your committee. Right Honorable Speaker, our standing orders gives us express authority to undertake activities as this. I want to propose to the committee that they should not be afraid to suggest to the House that we can, or they should not be afraid to bring a resolution to the House to, as it were, every sitting honorable members who signed the resolution contribute 5 cedis of their sitting allowance to this particular welfare fund. And they also have the right to open an account under the auspices of Grasag, managed by the committee and audited by the audit committee. So the right for the audit committee to manage should not be a go area. Take up, then they will audit you for that purpose. Because that committee, if they get hold of money, they are difficult to release such monies. So I want to say that let's bring a resolution to the House. Let's pass it. And every time, Grasag can issue a standing order, and my good friends can issue a standing order on this, that every honorable member receiving an allowance, 5 cedis should be moved into their welfare accounts, and that can help build that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Honorable Director.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. My name is Darlington Obeng. I'm representing Enfield Measurement and Evaluation. First of all, I want to commend Mr. Marwan for giving us these suggestions. But I think that the payment of the dues is not an issue. But then subsequently, the disbursement to senators, when it comes to circumstances that will require us to do so, will be the problem. So I would suggest that the committee goes back and give us a comprehensive note on the scope of the dues collection for us to know the various line items that will be covered, so that subsequently, if any of us finds themselves in a difficult situation will get to know which and what is covered. And also on the second thing, that is the Lacoste and other souvenirs that you are proposing to the house. I want to commend you for such an innovative idea, but I'm also proposing that as Grasag Association, the Executive Council can also give us a line item in the budget so that it will serve as a support to the proposement of the committee. Thank you very much.
Okay. The last one.
Thank you very much, right, Honorable Speaker. I'm up once again. I once again commend the welfare committee for such a very wonderful work that they are doing. Almost all the things that I wanted to say, my brothers have said, but one thing that I want to also add is the mode of payment. I don't know if it's going to be a physical way of repaying or we are going to make it through electronic payment. And I would say it's going to be very expedient that we go through that electronic payment because we find it much more easier paying electronically as compared to we doing the physical way. The electronic way, we can just trace every form of payment that has come because it goes electronically and it goes into the account. But when it is physically paid, maybe the collector, you might not know. You use 5 cedis to buy water, but maybe you forget to place. It's not, negligence or something like that, but it can happen. So let's also consider that way of, paying it through electronically. Then once again about the T-shirts. I know Grasag also generally provide T-shirts. So what is the difference between yours and the Grasag one, and how are you going to resolve that? It probably is a different thing altogether. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your suggestion, Honorable EP. Honorable. Let me start with the mode of payment. In fact, we really looked at that, and one key thing was that currently senators take their allowances directly through their bank accounts. If it were to be at the table or you take it on the table, that one we know at the point of signing or taking your allowance, there could be a way of getting that amount that the House is going to agree on. But since it is going directly to the account of senators, as part of our engagement, I am planning on meeting the Treasurer and the Financial Secretary to see if there would be a way, if the House should agree on a certain amount, can there be a way of them taking such amounts before allowances are paid? If there is a way, then we could go by that way. If there is no way, like I stated earlier, it's a voluntary thing. But if the House meets or agrees and passes a resolution and it becomes compulsory, then that, as Ipin said, then compulsory on each and every member. So we are on. And with regards to the
your committee, if you don't, then there will be no payment. Chase government, okay, Honorable Agusia. Honorable Agusia is gathering momentum, so please be patient.
Oui.
Mr. Speaker, all protocol duly observed. I bring greetings from the Privileges Committee. A report of the Senate Privileges Committee. I begin with the progress of the Senate. Capacity building, a visit to the Parliament. This trip is for all senators who wishes to go, and the budget for the trip is 4,000 Ghana cedis. A date will be deliberated upon by the Privileges Committee. Also, any member that wishes to attend the trip should contact the Privileges Committee Secretary Honorable Akosia, in order for us to know the numbers and start preparation. Mode of feeding. We want to find out which mode will be suitable, whether senators will contribute for leadership to provide them with food, or interested senators will bring their own food for the trip. Also, the executives will forward the pass for the trip. The next issue is a joint parliamentary webinar series, which has already been started by the Communication Committee, and we've had 2 sessions already. Last month, on the 28th February, we had Honorable Barbara as the keynote speaker on the theme Relevance of Parliamentary Symbols and Practices Among the 21st Century Youth, and Honorable Hamza Adams as the keynote speaker on the theme Youth Voices Matter, Enhancing youth engagement in the decision making for this month on the 25th of March. Moving forward, the Privileges Committee will be handling it by providing either a member of parliament or anyone in the law field. The committee has already secured Honorable Dr. Kwame Naminta, the MP for Cape Coast North, for the next month, and Edward Gordon, a private legal practitioner, for the month of May as the keynote speakers. The next is Senate Going Digital, a system where senators will have to log in and out during and after Senate sitting, which we started today. The Communication Committee will be handling that, and the Privileges Committee will be keeping the database and details of senators for activities and other purposes. Creating Senate out of distance students. Inquiries will be made to find out if there are postgraduate programs that are being run for the distance students, and if there is, arrangements and other initiatives will be put in place for us to get Senate out of distance students. The Privilege Committee has also realized that decisions and issues made during Senate sittings do not get to the various constituencies as the senators should be doing. So the committee is going to provide sitting minutes from the Senate Secretary in a bullet form on the various Grasag platforms for all to get access to the information. We will entreat all senators to take the information back to the constituencies after every sitting, since that is our job as the rep. Thank you. The standing orders. The Grasag and Senate logo will be placed on the standing orders, which will be used to educate students, and it will be done through the SLC Facebook account. Currently, the logins and Facebook account hasn't been given to the Senate yet. Therefore, we will use our normal ways of sharing Senate standing orders on the various Grasag platforms. The Senate on radio will be done every 2 weeks, so sharing of the standing orders will also take place on the weeks that we do not go for Senate on radios, in order not to flood the platforms, but be able to send messages across effectively. Deliberations on the Grasag dinner and the way forward. A meeting was held between the Grasag executives and members of the Privileges Committees to discuss the dinner, but the Grasag executives informed the committee that an interim committee will be created for the dinner and not the Privileges Committee. Therefore, there wasn't much deliberation. The President also brought to our attention that due to insufficient funds, the dinner may or may not come off. But if senators, committee members, and Senate leaders and the Grasag executives will agree to forego their allowances and food served during Senate sittings, so those monies can be used for the dinner, then there will be a dinner. The House should decide on this. Thank you.
This report is overly, or let me say, is in-depth, very in-depth. Yes, very in-depth. I think, I don't know if your committee has to look very in-depth. Yes. Yeah, but I think there were some of the things we could have done. So, Privileges Committee, thank you for your report. Yes, so as you said, the webinar there is, please keep it moving. Get other honorable members as well. We don't intend to just or to relax during the vacation. During the vacation, we still want to have those sections so that the next administration can also benefit. It's not just for this administration, but for subsequent ones as well. So please keep up the good work. And I like your in-depth report too as well. At this point, there is no other suggestion. It is very in-depth, yes. But I think for the dinner, these are issues that will be done at the consultational level. So it wouldn't be much of an issue. So honorable members who are concerned about their dinner, please calm down. We'll sort it behind the scenes. Yes, please. So I think we are done with, so the business committee will be exempted for reporting, but they'll have to submit a report because the business committee only works when we have a sitting. After that, there's no work. And today, they've made it possible. So there is no need for them to report as well. But we need your report for purposes of committee reported. So that will be skipped. Now we go to the executive. So we'll start with the welfare of the executives. So welfare, executive committee. Communication and publicity, you'll be next, so please prepare.
Right, Honorable Speaker, all protocols duly acknowledged. Good evening. I am Frimpong Iram Aisia, the Vice President of this Noble Association. I am here to present you a report from the Welfare Committee. The Welfare Committee is made up of 5 members, and they are Frimpong Iram Aisia, Arabella, Ampong, Nina Grants, Derenakwa, and Augustina Tambili. Some major roles that the Welfare Committee has played so far are sharing of souvenirs to regular continuing students, sandwich finalists, and then the distance students. In the interim, the committee is waiting to receive new stocks of souvenirs, which will be distributed to freshmen and women, that is the first years, by next semester. Selling of souvenirs worth 40,000 Ghana cedis, of which the money has been deposited in the investment accounts of the association. Next, a 3-member committee has been formed to review the welfare policy. The members include the Chief Justice, the Vice President, and then the outgoing Vice President of the association. And hopefully before next semester commences, the committee will submit its reports. Lastly, invitations for funerals and weddings has been received, of which messages have been sent to acknowledge such people. The good news is that donations have been processed, and so affected members can contact me by the close of tomorrow for their funds. Thank you.
So, welfare committee, I'll take only one suggestion in that sense. Okay, honorable me.
Mine is just a question.
Okay.
I was linking some people to the committee for their issues because they were not on campus. I want to ask whether I can come and take it on their behalf and send it to them once I was doing the...
No, please, I have their numbers, so I'll contact them. If possible, I can send it to them through Momo. I'll do that. Thank you.
Okay, so welfare committee, you are discharged. Honorable members, please remember, if you have any suggestion, you can see the committee heads and make it known to them. We are building an association of our own, so let's contribute. Communication publicity. PRO.
The stylish PR. Last stylish. 1-1. Only 1-1. Yeah. My PR.
Good evening. So, right now, speaker. On clerk. Right bench, Ida. left bench leader, executive council. All protocol duly observed. Okay, so as a public relations officer for this association, we've had numerous challenges about publicity on the way of disseminating information to our people. And due to that, as a committee, we met and discussed on ways we have to tackle these problems. So with my committee members, we came up with different strategies. For the first one, since we are having difficulties in getting the data of our students day out. Today, for instance, someone tested me to add him to the platform. So using the email as an avenue, we can also disseminate information to them. 2, we also focus on using WhatsApp platforms. But due to a lot of information that people put on the platform, we will make sure that sometimes when vital information are being posted, the group will be locked for a while for people to read vital information before we open. If there are any questions or answers, or you would like to interact with us, although people do come in my DM by asking a lot of questions about Grasag, and people also call. Sometimes when it's 11 p.m., people do call me asking about Grasag. But since we decided to settle and do the work of this association, I make sure I pick their calls and attend to them. And another strategy that we would like to implement is classroom visitation. Taking the General Assembly, for example, we made publications about General Assembly. We posted them on various platforms, on Instagram, LinkedIn, X, and Facebook, but yet still, we couldn't meet a forum. And also, looking at that, we would like to implement the classroom visitation so that they will see us face to face to show that we are concerned about an upcoming program which will come off. And also, we would like to make the use of bulk SMS, of which we don't have the database of our students. We will liaise with MIS to send bulk SMS to students on upcoming programs. And I think we've done it once. For the second time that we are about to do it, the list wasn't updated, so we find it difficult in reaching them. So these are some of the challenges that we've faced, and these are solutions that we want to implement. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that is from the communication publicity. I don't think you have major issues, so I'll give the opportunity to only one person. Only one. Okay, so only the two of you. Please don't repeat each other's question. So please, Steve will start.
Thank you very much. Reason is MIS giving for not releasing students or graduate student interviews to the executives of the association. Mr. Pierre.
That's why I said there is a problem there. There is a problem there because there are a lot of concerns. I don't know whether you are also an agenda woman. People go to MIS to pick data from the MIS to share bulk SMS to students. And here is the case they shared information to those, I'm talking of the freshers who were coming. And this happens to it to be that. Please let me come again. This happens for it to be that a message was sent to one of, I don't want to mention him, one of the big men in this institution. And the person reported to the MIS that they shouldn't release any data to any association or any leader. In case we want to liaise with students, we should come to the MIS. They will do that for us. That's the reason why we are facing difficulties in getting a database of our students.
Okay, so Honorable Member, the last one so that we go. Obuswan, yeah.
I think our PRO has done a strategic work today. That we can say this because yesterday what happened and today, we are all saying that information is not forthcoming. And highlighting his challenges, I think that Mr. Speaker, he has
today what is happening?
He has seen the loopholes and he's coming out with solutions. I will urge him and the team, just as he said that he's going to block the page, that we can, you know, we are approaching elections and the page is always filled with so many information, which sometimes such vital information from your end, we are unable to see. So I will plead with him. If you want to implement that, some of us will support that idea, that sometimes the page should be blocked so that vital information members can have preview to read, comment, and others can be sent back on. And I also want to apologize to the House and other members of Grasag who are calling our PRO sometimes late at 11 p.m. to stop. So that our I will support him as he is going class by class. That we can think that will be very good so that our programs, people will attend and then we'll have a fruitful program. That we can thank you very much.
Senate Communication Committee, take clue from what the PRO has said. Your work is no different from that of the PRO, so please. Then sports.
We only had just one trophy, which was the handball. So with the main interhouse, this time we had 2 trophies. That is the badminton. We represented the Grasag team with 3 team members or 3 students, of which we placed first, second, and third. So, and with the cross country, we presented 4 men. Ideally, we needed to send 10 students or student athletes, but we had just 4. So what we did was non-score. We would do the athletics, but they will not score us. So we presented 4 men, of which Honorable Hassan, he led the team. So kudos to Honorable Hassan. Yeah. With the soccer, we faced ATL as a whole. In fact, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. Both female and male, we faced ATL and they kicked us out. Both teams. The hockey as well, the same team, we were kicked out by ATL Hall. The handball, we placed second, of which we did well, just a slight difference. In fact, a Senate member here, Ogidi Gideon Kwansa, who was the team captain for the handball. Yes, and let me put it to the House that one of our members has been selected to be part of the UCC handball team. That is Ogidi. Yeah. With the netball, I think our first match, they score us. my ladies can disappoint us. They score us I 16-2. So that was the score, 16-2. We only scored just 2. Yeah. And I think that's all. Yes, that is all for the games. Yes, and again, now we have a committee purposely for sports. That is the sports committee. Now the sports has been separated from the spec. Last year, we were having sports program and entertainment committee. Now we have sports committee. Yes, now the rest, we have program and entertainment committee. So now the sports committee, if they are here, in fact, I only had 2 people supporting me. So the rest, let me put it on record that they are not going to settle you. They are not going to pay you. You don't have to do that. It was bad. And with the issue of the payment, yes, that is appearance fee. We've been able to settle. We've been able to settle the student athletes. Yes, so that is it for the sports. But
I'm here with my financial secretary, Alfred Nanakisi, and we would like to start with the stage of Grasag campus. Presented the budget at the previous sitting, and from that we presented an opening balance of 27,491 Ghana cedis, 68 pesos. Because this is account, I'll do with the real figures. When it comes to the receipts, that balance is a real figure. Sandwich admissions, transfer from admissions, ODF. Well, we realized an amount of 161,000 Ghana cedis. That was the transfers made during the sandwich period from students' admission fees. And our first tranche from regular students was 200,000, which came somewhere last month. That was the first tranche that came from the regular admissions. So in all, when we tally, we have an amount of 388,491 Ghana cedis, 68 pesos as our total receipts per the account. Expenditures. So we are breaking it by allocations, as we presented at the previous sitting. So the first allocation was Bachelor Scholarship Scheme, which an amount of 20,000 was supposed to be donated for the scholarship. And I hope honorable members in year 2 are applying for the scholarship. So that would be done. It's not yet transferred. That will be transferred very soon because the scholarship, the period has been open for application to be received. So that will be done. Move to the next allocation, which is works and projects. The budgeted amount was 83,450 Ghana cedis. Expenditures. Somewhere last week we had tech clinic that went on. So both feeding of people who supported in the tech clinic and honorarium for the 4 people who prepared your laptops, installed the softwares, all amounted to 2,880 Ghana cedis as an expenditure. And as we stated in our works and projects, the renovation that we wanted to do at the library basement, the postgraduate study area, 2 ACs has been procured. 2 ACs have been procured for that very renovation, amounting to 17,000 Ghana cedis. Sockets at SGS Library, another project which we wanted to do. So by now this should have been done with installing of the sockets at the SGS Library. So now when you go, You don't have the fear of your laptop going off. You have sockets on your table, 2-in-1, to charge your gadgets. At the meantime, for the procurement, an amount of 8,602 Ghana cedis has been spent on that very project. And luckily enough, we, the association, the executive council, procured a mini sound system. Those who went for the tour, that was used, and then those who were there when we were projecting the Blasters match during the Aquaba week, that was used. And a roller, usually high roller for extension when we are organizing program. So those two things were procured, amounting to 3,432 Ghana cedis for the association. Programs and conferences, allocation 3. We had total allocation of 48,990 Ghana cedis. Expenditures, an amount of 750 Ghana cedis was spent on breast cancer awareness by the Office of the Women Commission. On Aquaba week, so the lunch Aquaba week, luncheon and indoor games, an amount of 3,660 Ghana cedis was spent on that. Start Right program, an amount of 12,260 Ghana cedis was spent, which was held in this very auditorium. And Aquaba week celebration, bonfire and jams, an amount of 3,930 Ghana cedis was spent. And Aquaba week health walk, 2,900 Ghana cedis was spent. Recently, International Women's Day, an amount of 2,800 Ghana cedis was spent by the Office of the Women Commissioner, all amounting to 26,300 Ghana cedis, which was spent from the total allocation. Subsistence and T&T allocation 74,900 Ghana cedis. Expenditures, stay back allowances and feeding allowances were paid for last year during the vacation period, amounting to 11,000 Ghana cedis. And our president and vice president were invited to clean camp for a program. An amount of 1,350 Ghana cedis was spent. Sponsorship drive, the sponsorship drive committee, it was funded with 6,640 for their sponsorship drive. An amount of 14,800 cedis was spent on Christmas package for the executive council, part of Senate and management and auditors. The second stay back before reopening was paid, amounting to 13,800 Ghana cedis. So all combined totaling to 52,890 Ghana cedis as part of TNT and subsistence spent. Printing and stationery, allocation of 4,911 Ghana cedis. These 1,556 Ghana cedis was spent on stationery as at this very moment. Repairs and maintenance, allocation 17,400 Ghana cedis. Expenditures, 4 coupons were bought 2 times at 5,000 each, making 10,000 Ghana cedis. And the repair on crouch was done for 250 Ghana cedis. And replacement of car tires for 1,500 Ghana cedis, amounting to 11,750 Ghana cedis. Wings and association, allocation 155,975 Ghana cedis. Expenditures, amount of 4,740 Ghana cedis was spent on USAC Congress. Amount of 5,390 Ghana cedis was spent on Sandwich Senate City. amount of 647 Ghana cedis 50 pesos was spent on design costs for August and September. National Congress, an amount of 20,200 Ghana cedis was spent on National Grasag Congress, and capitation of 14,000 was paid for 40 members sent, and dues were paid on behalf of postgraduate students of 20,000 to National Grasag. Extended library run during the sandwich period amounted to 17,920 Ghana cedis. As part of Women Commissioners Initiative, an amount of 900 Ghana cedis was sent on invitation to Amahoma Presby School, which donations were made on behalf of the association. An amount of 2,960 Ghana cedis was spent on design costs from October 2023 to January 2024. An amount of 5,340 Ghana cedis was also spent on our first sitting held in this very auditorium. And 1,360 Ghana cedis was also spent on design costs for the months of February and March. Sandwich Senate sitting allowances paid yet to be cleared by the bank, totaling to 2,430 Ghana cedis. So we have a total spent allocation of 95,887 Ghana cedis 50 pesos. Welfare, allocation of 12,060 Ghana cedis. So far we had funerals which the association needed to support, relative funerals, I think 6 funerals, and an amount of 2,400 Ghana cedis for process. So we made it 400 cedis each for and 2 weddings. Invitation were also brought, which also amounted to 800 Ghana cedis, all totaling to 3,200 Ghana cedis spent from the welfare allocation. Administrative expenses, that is 3,830 Ghana cedis was administrative expenses, 33,830 Ghana cedis was allocated in the budget. Expenditures, Grasag drivers' monthly stipend were paid from the month of September to March, totaling to 7,056 Ghana cedis. And an accident-free incentive was paid to our driver for driving 3 years without accident, amounting to 1,830 Ghana cedis. And communicating allowances was paid to the council, amounting to 4,120 Ghana cedis, and 4 toners were bought for printing, amounting to 818 Ghana cedis 40 pesos. Total spent allocation from administrative expenses is 13,884 Ghana cedis 40 pesos. Elections and vetting, allocation 4,940 Ghana cedis. So far, we've only done the subcommittee vetting for 2 days, which a total of 880 Ghana cedis was spent. Prints and souvenirs, allocation of 174,000 Ghana cedis. Nothing has been spent from that allocation so far. Sports, allocation 14,680 Ghana cedis. Expenditures, 2,990 Ghana cedis was spent on freshers inter-hall games. An amount of 3,995 Ghana cedis was also spent on the main inter-hall games. An amount of 3,950 Ghana cedis spent on motivation for sports, men and women. Sandwich dinner,
Location of 58,437 Ghana cedis. So an amount of 20,719 Ghana cedis 99 pesos was spent on sandwich, dinner, food. An amount of 10,603 Ghana cedis 7 pesos was also spent on sandwich, dinner, drinks. An amount of 6,752 Ghana cedis 50 pesos spent on sandwich, dinner, entertainment. An amount of 3,912 Ghana cedis spent on sandwich, dinner, starters. And 7,205 Ghana cedis 72 pesos was spent on sandwich, dinner, decorations. And 2,850 Ghana cedis was spent as sandwich, dinner, honoraria. And 2,000 Ghana cedis was spent on venue cleaning before and after use. So totaling to 54,043 Ghana cedis, 28 pesos. S gratia was paid to previous administration, amounting to 27,300 Ghana cedis. Outstanding expenses, we had 47,830 Ghana cedis. Expenditures, the payment for certifications and frames were done, amounting to 18,286 Ghana cedis, 82 pesos, and 4,846 Ghana cedis was also paid.